I'm ready for it. Hello, we are ready, but we want to make sure that everybody has a chance to get to the link, which you should be able to find on Betty's page, my page, or on the Dinner in 1 Hour page. The live feed should be there. We're going to go back to our pre-show screen for a few more minutes, and as soon as we see that people are coming on, we'll start. Okay, so we are ready. One of our followers, my sister, commented it'll be nice to have a drink to start this session, the cooking session. So we're going to change the tradition. We're going to have Matteo do a drink for us to kick off the cooking, and then we'll move into the carbonara. So Matteo, your stage.
All right. Which camera am I looking at?
Both?
Both
Well,
is
that
fine.
one cannot really see you. This one can see you.
Okay, so I'll look here. Our drink for tonight is the Maple Old Fashioned. It has several ingredients. We have either a bourbon or a rye, depending on your preference. I like to use bourbon as it's made more with corn, so it's sweeter. But rye is a little bit more of a spicy, not like a temperature spicy, but think of spices like a rye bread versus a cornbread. So what we'll do is we'll start with our bourbon. It's going to be 2 ounces. So you get a mixing glass filled with ice. And we fill that with 2 ounces of our whiskey. Okay. After that, we'll do 2 to 3 dashes of our aromatic bitters. Now, the most famous aromatic bitter that most people have is Angostura. So if you see this one here, Angostura, we'll do 2 or 3 dashes. I like 3 dashes. We'll do 1, 2, 3. We're actually running low. This one needs to go on the grocery list. Then I'll do 1 dash of the orange bitters. We have Fee Brothers orange bitters. The Bitter Truth is another very good brand you can use. 1 here, 1 dash. And now we do 1 bar spoon of our maple syrup. Now many people will use for the old-fashioned a regular simple syrup or even granulated sugar and stir it up. I like the touch that maple syrup adds, so just a little bit, only a bar spoon. So I don't have my normal bar spoon, I only have a regular spoon, but I will make do. Works out just fine. So that much. Now at this point, you go ahead and stir it up. Now the length of time you stir it up depends on how strong you like your drink. Normally it ranges between 30 to 60 seconds. So I have my watch here. I'm going to go ahead and start stirring it. Are there any questions? I'm happy to answer any questions for those. Thank you, Ms. Standage.
And that
Hello.
Guns and kits, yeah. We've gone international now. Well, we have Luca Pecca. Is Luca on? I think Luca may be on. My cousin.
All right. That should be
I'm gonna
it.
say hello to Luca real fast. Ciao, Luca.
All right. Everybody in our house has been eating all the ice. Probably my dog. All right. So now you go ahead and strain. Normally I would have a strainer that would fit, but this glass is too small. We'll make do. So we strain into our glass that's full of new ice, and it's frozen. And our garnish for this drink is going to be an orange twist. So what I'll do here is take the orange here and your potato peeler, make a large orange peel. Boom. Like that. You could or could not see that.
Because yes, one understands.
All right. So basically you take it and you twist it a little bit, like that, and then you place that in your drink, like so. You have a maple old fashioned. There you go. Cheers, and looking forward to the meal tonight.
Well, I think we may as well just stop right here. I think we have the bulk of what we need to be doing anyway done. If you haven't done so, put your water on, because the water is going to be the last thing to be ready, because the carbonara goes very fast.
Salt or no salt?
Absolutely no salt in the water. The reason why you do not want to salt the water, which you typically would, your pasta water, is because we will be using a pecorino. So unless you have a fresh pecorino that has not been seasoned very long, it's probably going to be pretty salty, like a Romano is going to be salty. And either your guanciale, your pancetta, your bacon will have salt in it. So if you need to adjust for salt, it won't be until the very end, but do not salt your water. Put your water on. I'll tell you a couple of things about carbonara. The word carbone in Italian means coal. So carbonara, why? Because you will be putting enough black pepper on it to blacken it. Not quite that black, but that's why carbonara. A lot of myths, stories. The most popular one is that the Italians, as the Allies were making their way through Italy and eating eggs and bacon for breakfast,
The Americans. Oh.
the Americans, the Italians decided to make a pasta that would go well with eggs and bacon. And there is the carbonara. Whether it's true or not, don't know. This is a traditional Roman recipe. And with anything that is steeped in tradition, there are a lot of factions that want to take hold and tell us what the true carbonara is. I will tell you what's absolutely agreed on. There is no cream in carbonara. Absolutely. Everybody will agree on that. The second thing is that if you have it, guanciale is the preferred meat. Of course, guanciale is not always available, so bacon or pancetta. Preferably pancetta because it has less flavors that you introduce in there. The last thing that there's a little bit of discussion of is the eggs. Some people use all yolks. Some people use a couple of egg yolks and 2 whole eggs or 3 egg whites. So people do little combinations. I like the whole egg yolk carbonara. The other thing that is, it is spaghetti. So you should be using spaghetti. You don't have to. And if you don't like spaghetti, you prefer short pasta, it works just as well. So don't let that be a hang-up. I'm going to show you the spaghetti that I will not be using, but I would like to use. So this spaghetti is actually a spaghettone. It's a little thicker and it's run through a bronze die, so it's not like the typical processed spaghetti that is rough on the outside. On the outside, it has a little bit of very fine texture, which helps absorb the sauce or catch the sauce. The other thing that is very nice about it, one package open here, is that it comes extra long. So as opposed to being your typical spaghetti length, you get an extra long spaghetti. And you should not be breaking this. This should go in the hot water and stay in one piece. So your water should be on at this time. Then the next thing to happen is to get your guanciale ready. So your water is warming up. We're going to cut the guanciale, bacon, pancetta, whatever you're using. That's what we'll move to next, okay? I will do it on here. Oh, Matteo's got a drink for me. Thank you, Matteo. Okay, so yeah, no, that's my Negroni right here. That's a drink made with Campari bitters, which is very good. I do not have my clean cutting board because I already have this. So I got ahead of the game because you guys pushed me too hard, and I grated my Parmesan and my pecorino. Now, I forgot to mention that most people believe that a true carbonara is just pecorino. But if you're using a Romano like we do, which is pretty hard seasoned and pretty salty, it's nice to break it up with the Parmigiano. Again, a personal preference. I do half and half. If you want to be very traditional and you had a good pecorino, you use only the pecorino. And it's grated pretty fine. I use my microplaner to grate it. Just don't make sure it's not too chunky, because if it's too chunky, it's hard to make it into a cream. When you make the carbonara, you may start making this string, like string cheese, right? I posted on my webpage where I source my guanciale. So guanciale is the cheek of the pig that is cured. The only one that I found that I've been happy with is the one from Alla, Fine Cure Meats out in California. D'Artagnan carries this up in New York, and a couple other people carry, but this is the one that I do like very much. I need to put my glasses on so I don't cut my finger instead of cutting the guanciale. So on the pancetta, just like on a pancetta, but not on a bacon, the skin is still on there. We'll be removing that. The easiest way to remove it is not to try to do it now, but once you've cut your slices. If you have bacon, it's going to be a little thinner. If you have a guanciale or a pancetta, I like to make it a little wider, thick. I think if I've posted it, if you buy the pancetta that is rolled up that you can find at the deli counter, about ½ inch thick. It's about this thick. It's the thickness that I like to make it. The reason for that is that when it cooks, you can render it on the outside and give it a little bit of crispness, but the inside will still stay kind of soft, so you get that crunch and then the burst of flavor. This guanciale was about 14 ounces, which is a little more than what we need, but nobody's going to call the police if I put too much guanciale in my carbonara, and I do like it. You can see what's special about the guanciale versus a bacon is the fact that it's almost sweeter. The taste is not as harsh. And this one you can tell is fresh because the rind is not yellowing. So this outside part will start yellowing as it ages a little longer and become a little rancid, and you will want to cut that off for sure. Okay. If you're doing bacon,
Order pancetta
who's ordering pancetta?
in the grass.
Good. Hello, Linda. I'm glad that you could join us. Very weird doing this because you say something to somebody and they don't answer you. I feel like I'm in a madhouse. Okay, this is our beautiful guanciale. I'm going to remove the rind. If you want to, this one looks really good. You can save it because you can flavor other things with it. Most of the time we end up tossing it, but there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that piece of meat right there. I mean, with that skin. So it definitely can be used if that's what you like to do. If you're doing bacon, and you find the thick bacon, just don't cut it too small, but just cut it into a little strip. Lay out your bacon and cut it into strips, okay? So we talked a few times about garlic and other ingredients that we use and how it's so important to be careful not to burn them, because the flavor will intensify and will change as it starts cooking and warming up, and then it will reach a point where it's going to pass its prime. I guess it's kind of like wine. I never thought about it that way, but it is kind of like wine. You reach that taste that is just perfect, and you get past it, and all of a sudden you introduce some flavors that are really not appealing. Okay, so with the guanciale, what we will do is we will not put it on an high flame. We'll start it slowly, and we will not add any olive oil to the pan because there's enough fat in the guanciale to start melting and rendering into the pan to keep it from sticking. And we don't want to introduce a flavor like olive oil, which is, again, nothing wrong with the flavor of olive oil, but it's not part of this dish, okay? Or traditionally it isn't. I guess if you wanted to make it, you could that way, but that's not what this dish is about. This dish is about the guanciale and the cream of the pecorino and the eggs. Okay, so I don't know if I'm in frame or not, but I'm gonna make them about that size. That's what I like. Some people make listarelle that are smaller or thinner. This is my preference. Oh, don't want to lose that. So Matteo is following you guys on the computer, I think, and you can answer questions right away, or you can pass them on to me, and Anna's doing the same thing. So between the two of them, I think most people are on the dinner in 1 hour page and the actual event page, and that's where they're posting. So if you want to see what everybody else is saying, that's probably the best place where to join the conversation. And what is it, Bella? The comments of the video. Anna Maria says that's the way to do it. So the comments to the video, if you post them in there, then we will see them and we will be able to answer your questions. And we also, if you're so kind, to share your pictures of what you're doing so that we can see how you're progressing tonight, okay? Ooh, this is a lot of guanciale. This is going to be really good. What did I call for in the recipe? I think I said 10 ounces, and I think I have about 14 here, so I'm being a little bit over the top. All right, so I would like for you, when you go to warm up your guanciale or your pancetta, your bacon, to use a large pan. And the reason why I want you to use a large pan, because in that same pan, we will finish the cooking of our pasta, our spaghetti, okay? So it needs to be large enough if you're making 1 pound of pasta to be able to accommodate a pound of pasta with ease. That's what we'll do. So we're gonna take my guanciale. This is the pan that I like to use. I'm gonna go right in there. I'm gonna spread it out. Anna, can you follow me over to the yep. And I'm gonna start it slowly, maybe on medium low. And that process will start. Step number 2. I wasn't truthful. There's one more important ingredient to this sauce. Very simple ingredients to this pasta. So the next one is the pepper. Fresh pepper, absolutely. If you don't have it, fine. If you have fresh peppercorn, not fresh peppercorn, but peppercorns, toast them. And to toast them, a heavy bottom pan. I use this little pan. Again, medium heat or so. And that pan is probably not visible to you, is it, Anna? I'll move it over here so you can see it. Here you go. Can you see it now? Okay. So that's my little cast iron pan. These guys are not getting anywhere. I'm going to turn it up a little bit. Okay. I'm not going to use all this peppercorn tonight, but I'll get it ready for me. This is what sits next to my cooktop, right? So this is what sits next to my cooktop is ground pepper that has been first toasted. So how do you know if it's toasted? You will definitely smell it. It smells gorgeous. It's really, really nice. Or another way to do it is if you pick up the peppercorn and you're not able to hold it, like it's warm, you know that it's warm enough, okay? Alright, so our guanciale is already melting. You can see the sheen on the bottom of this pot, and our pasta water is getting warm right here. I can smell the peppercorns, and they smell really good. If you can do this, I really recommend it. Okay? Oh, it's just fantastic. All right, I don't want to overdo them, but they're still cool, so I can do a little more. I can go a little longer in my peppercorns. I'm going to get off frame because I need to grab my drink. What's left, right, is getting the eggs ready. So we have the peppercorn going here, we have the guanciale or the bacon baking that we don't want to lose an eye on. We want to keep an eye on, right? Because the last thing we want to do is burn it. We don't want to burn it, but we want to make the outside of it crunchy. Okay? So if you have help or a free hand, the next thing is to separate your whites from your yolks. I'm going to go against tradition. I'm going to work on this side so you don't have to move the cameras. Because I think you can see that over there. In the recipe, I say four yolks, 8 yolks. 8, right? So if you 8, it's probably good if you're using medium eggs. We are using large eggs. I'm going to only use 6. to turn on the audio for the phone that it's over the cooktop. Yeah, if you click on it. I don't know if you can hear it or not.
The sizzling.
Starting to change color. This is done. I don't want to burn it. I'm going to turn off peppercorns. Things are hectic, but we're okay. We're doing okay. I'm going to move it up there. Okay, I don't want to burn the peppercorns. Once you burn them, they just don't taste the same. No, really good. Take him out of here because his pan is still hot. I don't want to cook him any longer. Okay. Yeah, you can get rid of that pasta.
Swap.
Matthew McCormick said the sound is great. You can hear the sizzle.
You can hear the sizzle?
Yeah.
He's also a fan of campari. He was excited about that.
Good. Look at all the fat that is rending out of the one shot. It looks really good. Okay. I'm going to turn the heat down a little bit. I don't want to burn the fat that is rendering out of the one shot. I'm going to stop counting. Three more. Uh-oh, I shorted myself here. I'm going to have to go to method number 2. Which is this method to get the yolk out. Okay.
That's probably my favorite smell ever. It's so good.
Oh, look at this. It's looking fantastic. It's going to be a couple more minutes, and then I don't want to make it any, so like a couple of those are done, and there are a couple that need a little more. So I'm going to slow it down, so we're just about there on that. Who is actually making it, and who is just watching? Who is a watcher? Who's a doer?
Ben Kataka says hello.
Who is that?
Ben Kataka.
Hey, Ben. Is he in California or is he back in Nebraska?
I think he moved back to Nebraska. We'll have to wait for his response. Kathy Stout also says hi to both.
Oh, wow. Hi, Kathy. Who is counting? I'm not counting. I don't know how many yolks I'm putting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to put one more.
Miss Whaley is making it.
Miss Whaley, yeah.
Awesome. I'm about ready to pull that one shot out of there.
Same thing with Amy, Dad.
What is that?
Amy and like Amy from what?
Amy
Oh, yeah?
Amy and Lauren.
Awesome.
Judy's watching.
Good.
We love all of our supporters.
Supporters never endeavors. Okay.
Michelle's watching.
Miss Hines
Oh, wow. Michelle. Hi, Michelle.
Sarah
and
Walden.
Sarah Walden is making it as well.
Awesome.
Ben has confirmed he is back in Nebraska.
Good. You're repatriated. Okay. So, that's it. I'm going to turn it off, okay? I don't want to get it too crispy. I want the middle to still be nice and just a burst of flavor. And I'm going to put it on here we're going to save all that beautiful fat that is rendered. Okay? It's fat and the pepper that was on the outside of the guanciale as it was cooking, as it was cured, right? So we can set this aside. We can take, oh, shouldn't touch that. Forgot it's a cast, yeah, it's a cast iron. This does not go longer. So we're gonna take this fat here, and we're gonna put it in there to cool down, okay?
Miss Christini says, "Hi, I can smell that guanciale down the street."
Hi, Jennifer. So this is liquid gold right here. Just like when you do duck breast, you get all that liquid gold. This is going to be part of our recipe. Do not throw it away. Do not throw your bacon fat again. This is where we will finish our dish. Inside of that pan, you can see on the bottom all the flavor that has been left behind by the meat, by the brown meat. The pasta water needs to be on a higher setting because we're going to be getting very close. And I'm going to move the action back over to the sink if you don't mind. A couple of things are going to happen. One, if you have a food processor, you can use a food processor. If you have a meat mallet, you can use a meat mallet. If you have a hammer, you can use a hammer. But this is how we do black pepper in bulk, right? So we toasted it. It goes in my Ninja. Well, it's not my Ninja, but it's my girl's Ninja that I bought for them. And we're going to make cracked pepper in a blast. It's going to take a couple of seconds, okay? We're going to go, whoop, on.
You don't know how to do this?
I do, but I have it on single serve, so that kind of. I'm watching it because I don't want to make it, I do not want to make it too fine. I still want to have some nice pieces of peppercorn in there, okay? Okay, so now you have peppercorn, freshly ground. It goes in my stash, and it goes next to the sink. And every time you need some, you're not sitting there with your pepper mill grinding it out. You're not sitting there trying to grind it out, but you have it ready. The whites are going to go in the refrigerator unless you guys are making meringues, which I showed you how to do, so you should be making meringues, but I just cannot ask too much. So the next step is egg yolks, 6 to 8. We're going to put most of our cheese in there. Parmigiano, pecorino, actually pecorino is this one. Let's start off with that. And we're going to start making a paste. And you really want to work it. You want to work it, work it, work it, work it, work it, work it. And I'm going to put some more. Probably use 2/3 of it. You can see how dense it is. Okay? Don't be shy. Keep on incorporating the eggs. It's work, but things that are good take work, right? So I'll probably use 2/3 of it. I'm going to just use a little more. And I'm going to reserve the rest for later. If you have a machine that can do this for you, more power to you. Okay. That's what we have. All right. So remember that fat that render from your bacon or your pancetta. This is when we put that to work for us. So we want to go slow, and we want to make sure it's cooled down because we do not want to make scrambled eggs. But we're going to slowly put some of this fat in there, and that will not only pasteurize the eggs, but it will help blend the cheeses in. Okay, so I've dropped a little bit in there, and I worked it in. I'm going to work in a little more. I don't know if that's visible, Anna. Can people see what I'm doing? Oh, that smells so good. Okay. And I don't know how much rendered out of the meat that you were using, so it's really up to you how much you incorporate, because you still get a chance at the very end, when the pasta is almost done, if you believe that it needs more of that flavor, to use a little bit more of this render fat. I think I have enough in there. I'm going to work it really well. You guys see that? Yeah. It's been incorporated, right? Oh, should I be eating raw eggs? Probably not.
Some protein.
So the people that don't do this every day, by the time they have cut their meat and they're starting to brown it, they've already put their pasta in the pot. Because it really only takes 15 to 20 minutes to make this dish if you're flowing through it and if you're not being a chatty Cathy like I am. Is that a bad thing? Was chatty Cathy? Somebody talks a lot, right?
Yeah. You know why? It was the first talking doll.
Oh, I thought it was Kathy Standage.
Oh, it's not Mrs. Stange. I thought it was a neighborhood joke, Betty. Kathy, no. All right. My water is boiling. We're going to do the gluten-free pasta because Matteo didn't get to have carbonara the last time I made it. And and he was the one that suggested carbonara along with a couple of other people for tonight. Otherwise, I would have used the spaghettoni, the ones that I showed you before. I find those on Amazon. I find those at La Panera online. I typically buy 5 or 6 packages. So if a typical pound of pasta is $3, these are typically about twice that, 6. But if you think about it, $6, 500 grams as opposed to 430, whatever it is that you get in the States. And it really makes an impact. Or difference, it's a different kind of flavor on your dish. So let's, Anna, can you go to, yeah, maybe we should go to the cooktop with the pasta, and what do you think? You want me to get this camera going? No, that's your job? This is like a union. Don't take my job. It's a unionized job.
Except I'm not getting paid, so kind of a bad union.
You guys see that? That's how you open the pasta. None of this cutting it off. Little tap, breaks off the top. You have it all in your hand. It goes in. Don't force it. Don't bend it. You break it. Just let it sit for a second and it will get in there. It'll go down in there, okay? That's real easy. For the next step, once we're ready, we will need our egg cheese compost, and we will need probably a spatula so that we don't leave anything in there. And since we were diligent in our use of the fat, we have a little extra fat that we can use if needed, okay? We will need a spatula. You will need a ladle, and then whatever you like to mix your pasta with inside of your pan, okay? You can use a spoon, fork. I like using my silicone tongs. So now the pasta is softening. I'm not going to break it. I'm just going to twist it to make sure it doesn't stick together. You have to do that, right? Otherwise it all becomes a big old thing of disaster. As usual, I'm just going off the top of my head and moving forward and not being good about giving you tips. When you put the pasta down, if the package said 8 minutes, think about around 6 minutes of being getting ready to pull it out, okay? So it's going to be not quite done, it's going to be al dente, and it's going to finish cooking in the pan where we cooked the guanciale or the bacon. If your pasta said 12 minutes, think about trying to pull it out at 10. I'm saying pull the pasta out because I want to be sure that you reserve some of the starchy water the pasta cooked in. 2 ways of doing it. One is you pull the pasta out and you have the pot left there. Second way to do it, if you do want to strain your pasta, then you can use, I don't have it,
What are you looking for?
one of my Pyrex
Because you just
measuring
used
cups.
it.
I just used it.
It's over there.
Oh, here it is, okay. You can just use a Pyrex smaller than this and take some of the water and set it aside for you so that you can use that water in your final cooking process. We have everything that we need. We have the cooked guanciale. We have the additional fat if you would like me to add it to the pasta. We have our eggs and cheese. We have our starchy water. And of course, we have the beautiful ground pepper. Hopefully you did get a chance to toast before you cracked it, but if you're just using a pepper mill, that works just fine too. So here's my pepper. So I didn't look at the timer and I didn't look at what this pasta calls for. So we're going to do it the old-fashioned way. We're going to taste the pasta to know when it's about ready.
Throw it at the wall.
Yeah, throw it against the cabinet, see if it sticks. You can tell when you move it around in the pot if it's getting close because it's getting loose, right? It's not as stiff. That's one way. You can cut the pasta and look in the middle. If it still looks white in the middle, you know that that part is not cooked yet. It's called al dente because a dente is a tooth. So when you push on it, you can feel it, right, with your tooth. Now, like everything, people sometimes go overboard, and as opposed to wanting their pasta al dente, they want it al chiodo. The chiodo is a nail, so they want it really hard. Not my thing, but who am I to say? Ask Linda if she's cooking or if she's just watching.
She's watching.
Oh, does she have a drink in her hand?
Good question.
So this pasta, I can feel it is stiff. I know it's not cooked. And if you look in the middle, you should probably see it also in there that it's not. My guess is in 8 minutes, we're going to have a carbonara that all of us that we're going to remember for a long time.
Linda says yes.
She has a drink, undisclosed. I'm going to show you how the guanciale turned out. And is this in picture?
Yep.
So you can see the outside is crunchy, right? And you can feel it. It's very crunchy. It's like a crust. But the inside is still soft. You see I can squeeze it? So it's crunchy, crunchy. And when it goes in your mouth, it's just unbelievably good. Thank you, Alipia from California. I found some at Central Market last year, guanciale, but it was a good cured meat, but had nothing to do with guanciale. It had all sorts of other spices and things in there. It really didn't lend itself to this kind of pasta. I was happy to see it, that at least they tried to carry some, but I think it was a Texas farm that was producing it.
Careful, you're gonna have a lawsuit on your hands.
Oh, I guess. Sarah, how far is Sarah along? What has she gotten done?
She's making something cool with her egg whites that I've never heard of it. It's called Salzburger Knockrel.
I
It's
don't know.
like a souffle kind of, like Google it.
Oh, nice.
It's very true.
Nice.
They're Austrian.
This is looking very good. We should have like an intermission and have a second cocktail.
I could go for another one.
Oh, I'm gonna burn myself. They're getting loose. I cannot pull them up anymore. I cannot pull them up anymore. Here we go. Okay, my pasta's al dente. My pasta's very good. So it's got a little bit of a bite. It's almost cooked. I'm going to throw away the starchy water because I took it out early, so a lot more starch is built into that water. So I'm going to get some more starch water that is going to be richer, okay? Good. I'm going to turn on the big pan on medium, okay? I'm going to turn off my pasta, my big pot. I'm going to warm up this pan. And then I'm going to start transferring the pasta to there. You can see from how the spaghetti is laying there, they're still not fully cooked, right? You can see that it's not just running out. And you don't want any fugitives inside the big pot. So I don't know why I did that, because I did keep my pot of water so I can use my ladle. Pasta's in there. We're going to add quite a bit. I'm going to move it forward on this so you can see it. No, I got it. I'm going to put 2 liters of water in there, okay? Two things are happening as I move it around. All that beautiful caramelization from the meat that we cooked earlier in the pan is being picked up by the pasta, right? So the pasta, you can see, is changing color a little bit. But even more beautiful, okay? You can see all that water, almost all of that water is gone. So I know that the pasta is absorbing water. And as it absorbs water, it's releasing starches, okay? So if you look in here, what used to be just water is becoming a cream. See how creamy that is? Can you see that? Okay? So you have to use, without ruining your pasta, without breaking your pasta, you have to move it around so it will release the starches and absorb the water, okay? And that will make that beautiful cream that you see there. And we have not added any cream. This is just the starch combining with the fat. Just like if you were to make a roux, right? So you're using butter and flour, right? So here we're using starch from the pasta and the fat. So I want a little bit, I want this pot to stay moist, okay? And I got my pasta out early enough to where I'm not overcooking it yet. It's still, I can feel it. It's still has a good consistency. Okay, the next step is going to be, once you think that the pasta is just about done, and you can taste one if you like, is to go ahead and turn up the heat. Okay? I'm going to turn up the heat to let the last of that starch or water evaporate. Then we're going to pull the pan off of the heat, 100% off the heat, okay? Because the next step will be putting the eggs in there. And we don't want to cook the eggs, we want to melt them in there, okay? So you can see these little bubbles that are forming in here. Can you see the little bubbles? Can you see the bubbles in there? And are they visible? Okay. So I want more of those. So I'm going to keep it in there just a little longer. There we go. Can you see those bubbles? Can you see that cream that is already formed? This pasta could be eaten as it is right now. It would be awesome. But we're going to take it up a notch, right? So I had it on full heat for a while. Heat goes off, totally off of that burner, right? Whoa, that was funny. That was unusual.
Oh no.
Okay, so here we go. Next step. Spatula. I'm going to get this beautiful cheese egg combination in there. And I'm going to get to work. Okay? I'm going to start mixing it. And it's just melting. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, wow. The smell is incredible. Look at this. I'm not creating strings of cheese, right? The whole thing is becoming one big pot of cream, creamy carbonara. That's exactly what you want, okay? So we're going to add a little bit more water because I don't want it to be too stiff, okay? Just a drip, just a drip. Look at that, Betty. Oh, man, this is going to be so good with them. Can you guys see it? Can you see that cream? Okay, so pepper. Let's go in there with the pepper, okay? Don't be shy. This is carbonara. It's black, right? So pepper. This pasta is ready. This pasta is ready to be eaten and is ready to be plated. Can somebody bring a plate? I'm going to go with just a drip of water, because I just want to, just a drip more. Okay. Here we go. So we're going to make what in Italy they call it a nest, a little bird nest of this pasta. Oh, this little birdie didn't get a good nest, but he's gonna get some good pasta. We're gonna put some more of that cream on top. Okay? Look how creamy it is. Then we're gonna go on with the bacon, or guanciale. And then, because we just don't know when to say enough, it's enough, we're gonna go with a sprinkle of our pecorino, because we want that bite of the pecorino. And finally, it's a carbonara after all. So here we go. Your black pepper. Who wouldn't eat this? Who would not eat this?
Your baby daughter.
Well, I hope your carbonara is coming together like ours. We are going to do 3 more plates, or 2 more plates. And do you guys have time to come and say hello to everybody?
You're almost at exactly an hour, Dad. You did it this time.
And we're getting drinking.
Yeah, I took up like 10 minutes.
You're not taking time.
Yeah, mine was almost 10 minutes. 5 minutes.
Okay. You missed the mustard tonight.
Okay. Spaghetti alla carbonara from the Costantini family to your family. I'm glad you could join us, and I hope you can join us again in the future. And I hope your quarantine is being safe and you were able to stay productive in your own ways. Anna the videographer, Isabella the commentator, Matteo.
No, I'm making vegan
Matteo
dinner.
and Betty social media, and
Chef Stefano.
me the cook. We'll see you next week.
Drink too.
Oh, sorry, Matteo. Thank you for the drink. Awesome drink.